Hello, everybody, and welcome to the October 26th, 2018 edition of the Ephrom Josine Show. I am your host, Ephrom Josine. I was not able to get a show out yesterday because my laptop nearly died while recording. Fun fact. But that's a story I'll tell another day. Maybe. Let's get into the news. Now, the first thing, I haven't covered this all week. This is actually supposed to be a few shows ago. But the bombing took my coverage on Wednesday, is the Honduran immigrants, or migrants. Basically, what's going on is a bunch of people from Honduras are fleeing across Central America in order to reach the United States. Now, of course, this has been very controversial, mind you, with some even calling it a plot by Democrats to do something. I'm still not sure. I mean, do these people think that we already don't have one of the most restrictive voting systems in the entire Western world? It's already not even particularly easy to vote in the U.S. We need to make it even more restrictive. Why? Because people who already can't vote are voting. Um, hmm. However, here is the truth. In 2009, the U.S. supported and legitimized a military coup in Honduras, which led to extreme poverty, violence, and repression. So basically, it is our fault the country is currently in the state that it is in. Now, this does mean that, at least in my mind, we do have a duty to, if we are going to establish a new government, make sure it is not in poverty. And if the citizens have issues with the government that we establish there, then they can petition that government, which in that case the U.S. government would be, for a redress of grievances, or go to a country where the U.S. government hasn't completely screwed it up, most notably the place where the U.S. government typically lives. However, at the same time, I don't know really if this sets a good precedent, most notably that we can just let anybody in. However, I do think that this would be different from, say, a bunch of, off the top of my head, what's a country we haven't backed a dictator in? There's probably one out there. But anyway, that hypothetical country in South America. Okay, now I'm really just making it hard on myself. But that hypothetical South or Central American country that we hadn't backed a dictator in or installed a dictator in, coming over here, I would be against that, but that's more on the basis of I am against illegal immigration. However, I do feel that if we are going to meddle in other countries' affairs, it is only natural that they should be able to come over here and tell us directly what they want. I just honestly think that's the only way to actually ensure that we're acting in the best interest of these people is to simply ask them. I know, one of my crazy ideas. I'm insane like normal. Anyway, to follow up on Wednesday's story, we now know who the bomber is. Guess what? He voted for Donald Trump. His van was covered in pro-Donald Trump stickers. And he had been a registered Republican since the 2016 election. Now, does this mean all Republicans are specifically like this? No. Does that mean this specific individual was a Republican, at least at the moment? Yes. Yes, it does. Or maybe it was someone framing Republicans by registering as a Republican 2 years in advance, voting for a president he didn't like, and planning this elaborate theme to, in that general, do something when it probably would have just been easier to do it 2 years ago. Maybe it takes a long time to make pipe bombs. But I'm just trying to find the worst possible take on it I can when it comes to this bombing. Um, I think the worst are the people who are still, mind you, attempting to claim that this is all a plot by the DNC to do something. I still don't know what. Something that is so ridiculous. Even the Daily Wire refused to even address such a concept. Um, Here is what Dylan from Educating Liberals, who, if you may remember, called this a plot by the DNC, said. Breaking news! Then he put a period instead of a... Hold on, I'm nitpicking. The bomber has been identified as Cesar Sakat. I thought you weren't supposed to name mass shooters, but okay. He is 56 years old. You're giving it an age now, too, dude. You're just going to inspire copycats. Isn't that the excuse when a white person does it? I'm pretty sure that's the excuse when a white... Oh, it's the excuse when a white person who isn't a Republican does it. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Or no, it's a white person who they think could be a Democrat does it. My bad. And lives in Avenel, Florida. And he is affiliated to the Democratic Party. Aren't you friends with Laura Loomer, who pretended to be a DNC staffer for Hillary Clinton? Specifically to try and expose corruption in the campaign or something? I don't know. Laura Loomer just confuses me. I've tried to do segments on her, but her entire thing is just harassing people, honestly. And for the record, Caesar hadn't been identified with the Democratic Party for a good 2 years. Didn't you write a book literally called 101 Facts That Will Convince Your Liberal Friends to Walk Away? Well, how do you know he didn't walk away? Like so many people apparently did. Anyway, that's it. I'm Ephrom, and see you next week.